She slept beside a kitchen door, not because there was no bed, but because that was where they thought she belonged. She waited until everyone else had eaten, then scraped warmth from cold plates quietly. She was punished, beaten for being too bright, and she dared not ask questions at all. In the quiet corners of homes where laughter pretends to live, the scars no one asks about, tears wiped away before daylight. They say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes blood is where the deepest wounds are born. Sit with me. Breathe slowly. Listen gently, because this is not just a story, it is a mirror. When Nkiru lost her parents at the age of 12, the world did not end loudly. It went silent. No goodbye, no final embrace, no trembling hands holding hers one last time. Only mourning drums and a future handed over like an unwanted package to her father's younger sister, Auntie Felicia. The village praised the woman. She has a good heart. It is better the child stays with her father's people.
Nkiru will go with her. Do not worry, child. Your Auntie Felicia will take good care of you, okay?
She took the orphan in. But what people see in daylight is not what happens behind locked doors. From the very first night, Nkiru learned a new meaning of the word home. There was no bed waiting for her, no pillow, no warmth. She slept on a thin, tired mat beside the kitchen door, where ants crawled freely, and cold night air kissed her bones without mercy.
A child should know her place,
Auntie Felicia said, her voice sharp like broken glass. And Nkiru learned quickly that her place was beneath everyone else. Before dawn broke, before roosters crowed, while other children still dreamed sweet dreams, Nkiru was awake, fetching heavy buckets of water that pooled at her thin arms, scrubbing floors until her fingers burned, cooking breakfast she would never taste. If her hands slowed, the slap came first, questions came later. While her cousins dressed in clean uniforms, laughing, adjusting their socks, arguing over who would carry which bag, Nkiru stood in the kitchen, arranging plates, washing pots, sweeping silence. By the time she bathed, school was already halfway gone. She walked into class late every day, head bowed, uniform torn, eyes heavy with nights that never allowed rest. When neighbors asked questions, why the child looked thin, why her uniform was always torn.
It's so good to see you. You too. This is wonderful. I just saw Nkiru right now. Why is she so dainty? And her uniform so worn out. What's going on? My sister, don't mind her. She's not properly trained. Her mother didn't raise her well. That uniform you saw? I bought it this term. Imagine, I buy Nkiru a new uniform every single term. This happens all the time. I'm just tired of her stubbornness.
And people nodded, because cruelty often wears a very polite smile. Even the school was confused. Teachers could not understand how a child so brilliant could be so neglected. Because Nkiru was not just smart, she was exceptional. From her very first term, her light refused to hide. She answered questions boldly. Her exercise books were neat, her understanding was sharp, and her results? First position, again and again and again. Teachers praised her, students admired her, but at home, her success became a crime. Auntie Felicia watched her own children struggle, fail tests, mock education, waste school fees. And the orphan, the girl she fed with leftovers, was shining brighter than all of them. Jealousy entered her heart like a poisonous snake.
You think you are better than my children?
Each good result earned punishment. Each praise earned pain. Food became a weapon. Nkiru ate only after everyone else was satisfied. Sometimes, what remained were bones and silence. If she cried, she was called ungrateful.
Ungrateful child. Your parents are dead. You should thank God I kept you.
Each word fell like a stone on the fragile heart of a child. Some mornings, Auntie Felicia locked the door. Education is a waste on useless girls, she declared. And Nkiru watched her cousins walk to school, books swinging, laughter echoing, while she stood behind, washing plates, tears falling into dirty water. At night, when the house finally slept, Nkiru traced letters on the bare floor with her finger, memories of classrooms she once denied. That was her rebellion. Silent, lonely, painful. At 14, the suffering deepened.
Finish up with that fast. Your siblings are already late for school.
Auntie Felicia added her shop to Nkiru's chains. Every morning, house chores first, then the shop. She swept, arranged goods, sold items she didn't own. Only then was she allowed to rush home, change into her torn uniform, and run to school, already late, already exhausted. At night, after selling goods she never owned, after washing plates she never ate from, eyes burning, body aching, Nkiru studied by candlelight. Education became her escape, her prayer, her promise to herself. Years passed. Nkiru grew taller, quieter, stronger. The shop became her prison. But while Nkiru grew wiser, Auntie Felicia's children grew wild, skipping school, stealing money, mixing with bad friends. One by one, they chose the wrong path. Then came the night. That changed everything. A rainy evening. Cold, heavy. Nkiru broke a plate. It was an accident. Her hands were shaking, her body tired. But Mercy was not in that house. Auntie Felicia dragged her outside, threw her into the rain, locked the door. "Let the rain teach you discipline," she shouted. Nkiru stood there, shivering, soaked, rain mixing with tears. She whispered a prayer she wasn't sure anyone still heard. That night, the fever came. Her body burned, her breathing weakened. No one checked on her. By morning, fate knocked loudly. Old Mama Uche, a neighbor, found her lying weak behind the house. She screamed. People gathered. Questions poured. And for the first time, Auntie Felicia had no answers. The truth spilled. The mat, the hunger, the beatings, wickedness exposed. Authorities arrived. Welfare intervened. And the woman with the good heart was revealed for what she truly was. Cruelty wrapped in family ties. Nkiru was taken away that day. Weak, scarred, but alive. She entered foster care, returned to school, and this time, no one dimmed her light. She rose, scholarships, awards, confidence. Years later, Nkiru returned, not in anger, but in grace. Educated, calm, unbroken.
Today's topic is child rights. Who can tell me what is the right of a child?
To go to school, Ma.
Good.
To be protected, not beaten.
The girl who once traced letters on the floor now stood before classrooms, teaching. And Auntie Felicia, her shop failed. Her children abandoned her. One disappeared. One landed in trouble. She sat alone in the same house where she once starved a child. Silence became her punishment. Because cruelty always collects its debt. This story reminds me of a little girl named Nkiru, with an angelic voice, a gift from God. She lived with her auntie too, and she went through hell. Standing for hours, fanning an adult woman, no rest. One mistake, and a heavy knock landed on her head. At 10 years old, she learned pedicure, scrubbing feet bigger than her dreams. She cooked food heavier than her own body, carried a baby everywhere, even when the child could walk. And Nkiru still had parents. They were just poor. So I beg you, parents who are still alive but struggling, please do your best to raise your children yourselves, because you do not know what that child is enduring behind another person's smile. Let this story remind us, not every relative is family. Not every smile is kindness. And not every child who suffers will remain broken forever. Some rise, some survive, some become everything their enemies feared. And when wickedness meets destiny, destiny always wins. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like and share, because someone out there needs hope tonight. Subscribe to Bellenicolestories for powerful African stories with deep lessons. Until we meet again, may light always find you, and may destiny speak kindly over your life. God bless you.